Oh, my goodness. Can you guess which of my lovely guests is making that noise?
Jenny. Oh,
anyone going to admit it?
Oh,
Question
you
is
poor
what
Jenny.
end?
No.
We've got to say it's you. It's
me.
Yeah.
It is me. So my partner recorded me because firstly, I didn't believe him. He kept saying your snoring is out of control, and I said absolutely not. Stop saying that. You're making this up. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And then presented me with those
The
recordings.
evidence.
That is evidence. Maybe you've had it up to here with your partner snoring. New research has found sleeping on your left side might cure the problem. But does your partner snoring drive you absolutely crazy? Maybe you just can't stand it because you cannot sleep. Or maybe you've been accused, like Cristo was, of snoring, and you don't understand the issue. After all, you're asleep when it goes on, so you never get to witness it at all. 0207 862 2222. That's the number. Do give us a ring. Dr. Narina, first of all, welcome. And secondly, what is it that causes snoring?
The muscles at the back of the throat get flaccid. They get floppy.
Right.
And
Is
so
that with age?
as you get older, but I'm seeing a lot of young people these days who are snoring, and women going through the menopause, they've never snored before and suddenly they start snoring. Mm-hmm. So it's not just, we tend to think of snoring as being something that happens when you get older, but actually it's not.
But when you say the muscles get flaccid, that makes it sound as if
we could think,
Also, but if we could think of a way to exercise them, we could tone them up.
Exactly right.
Can we?
Yes, and I'd love it if you can talk about that today.
Come on, how do we do it?
Well, do what I did last night. I train with a vocal coach. I love singing.
Right.
And humming or just making the ah sound. Doing this. Okay, can we maximise? Let's make that even better.
Right.
If you open your mouth, you stick your tongue out, and we'll go around the numbers on an imaginary clock. So sort of like, how do you sing Happy Birthday again? What's the tune? And so it goes on. I'll never work in this.
And what's it, that strengthens the tongue?
It
strengthens muscles at the back of your throat?
The tongue, but it opens up the airways and it strengthens the muscles that get floppy. The epiglottis, that's a muscle that stops you inhaling your food. It slides over the throat pipe, over the airways. So the epiglottis and the dangly muscle at the back of the throat, the uvula, that can get very flaccid.
How much of the day do we have to spend going to strengthen them up?
5 minutes or so before you clean your teeth.
Right.
Before you clean your teeth. 5 minutes in the shower or humming, feeling that vibration on your tongue, but doing it for about 5 minutes to strengthen those muscles alongside other lifestyle things.
Okay, this is great advice. Right.
Yeah.
What about weight loss? What about if you put on weight, you're more likely to snore? Is that true?
So a collar size of over 15 increases your risk of snoring. So losing weight, being active, doing breath work, but also I'm seeing a lot of young people these days who are on their phone a lot, and they're looking down, and it's changing the structure and posture.
Is it tech-neck, they call it?
Yeah.
Tech-neck.
But who knew that led to snoring? If you tell young people, if you keep doing that, looking at your phone, you'll end up snoring. That would really put them off, don't you think?
And
I do. I think you wouldn't want to be a snorer. Well, not when you're young and, attractive and full of hormones.
Weighed up against being on their phones, I'll be like,
Oh. By the way, the R exercise can help to lift the jawline.
Also good.
And it can stop you grinding your teeth. So
also useful. What about this thing about sleeping on your left side? Does that make a difference?
There is some value in that, absolutely. But some people just don't like sleeping on their left side. And, at the end of the day, we sleep when we feel safe. So you want to go to bed. I always fall asleep hugging a pillow on my right side. And then at some point, I end up on my back. So if you have to change your posture, that can take some working on. So why not do the lifestyle things? Get active, start drinking more water, sing more. Don't get dehydrated with caffeine and alcohol. Make better choices so that you don't have to move to those more harsh interventions.
Let's go to the phones because Sharon's on the line in Staffordshire. Sharon, your partner claims that he doesn't snore, but obviously you're the witness. Does he snore?
He does snore. Good afternoon, Vanessa, Jenny,
sweetheart.
and Cristo. It's so lovely to see Cristo on the show this afternoon. It really is.
Good. Somebody loves
Now,
you, Cristo. That's good.
I love Cristo.
So
I
tell
really
me,
do.
how bad is the snoring? Is it
My
really having an
partner does-
impact on you?
Yeah, my partner snored because I'm such a light sleeper, so it does affect me. So one night I was asleep and it was really getting on my nerves. So I put my hand over his mouth to stop him. And then he wakes up in the morning and he said, "Were you trying to suffocate me last night?" And I said, "Yes, I was, because you were getting on my nerves with your snoring."
All right, doctor, we don't recommend that, obviously, do we?
No, it's not ideal. But, jokes aside, relationships end because of this sort of thing. It can be serious. So it sounds like this lady, Sharon, is what I call in my sleep work and my methodology, a sensitive sleeper. And I think her husband might be what I call a martini sleeper. Nothing necessarily to do with alcohol, I don't know, but he can sleep anytime, any place, anywhere. He doesn't know that he's waking up. So I would say measure it. You can get apps that actually measure in decibels the frequency of the sound being emitted from this person, and then recommend nicely that he does some of the things that I've talked about.
Right, are there things you can buy over the counter? Are there things that doctors can prescribe that might make an immediate difference? Because obviously starting humming and starting to drink more water isn't going to make a big difference immediately.
Not immediately, but it will after a few weeks.
Yes, but are there things that you could do or buy that might make a difference sooner?
Well, nasal taping can help some people, but it doesn't help everyone. Mouth taping can help some people as well. We spend too much time breathing through our mouths. We should breathe more from the nose. So when you're out walking, you're at the supermarket, you're walking the dog, focus on keeping your mouth closed and
That's
breathing.
what we do in
start
yoga,
training
actually.
yourself.
It really does help.
Yeah.
And you can get special mouth tape.
And mouth taping. I mean, it's not the most attractive thing, but it does work.
All right, let's go
And it's
to
good for the
Brian
jawline.
on the line in Cheshire. You can look at him right down the line there. Brian, hello. Gosh, this sounds very dramatic indeed. You got divorced because of your own snoring. Gosh, that sounds awful. I'm sorry.
That's correct.
Gosh. So did you try to deal with it in order to save your marriage?
No, I was working nights
Yeah.
and I slept in the day and went on my days off.
Yeah.
My partner made me sleep in the kitchen.
Oh, that's hard.
That doesn't
And
sound...
and that's when I thought, I can't tolerate this.
Right. And did you
And
address...
we got divorced. And I see more of it now, and I was married.
Do you? But tell me something. Have you addressed the snoring? Have you done anything about it, or have you just carried on snoring away?
No, I personally think it was the medication I was on.
Oh, it might have been. Let's ask the doctor. Can medication cause snoring?
It can cause over-relaxation of the airways. But, I mean, it's not funny, is it?
No.
I think my second marriage ended because that is my ex-husband snoring.
Really?
But, I would say to people, you don't want your relationship to go that way, lovingly negotiate separate caves. Sometimes.
I sleep separately. Me and my partner sleep separately now.
Yeah.
And it has helped us so much.
Because you said you nearly got divorced.
Yeah, we were in, because I was snoring, he was snoring as well, even though I didn't take a recording of him. But also working funny hours, you'll know this from
Yes,
working
yes.
radio shows at
Absolutely.
odd times.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was, and we were both then getting more and more tired and more angry with each other. And actually now, like, if I'm doing funny hours, or unless it's a weekend when we can sleep in, we don't sleep together. We've got separate rooms, and it is a joy that we've both got a whole bed to ourselves.
And Jenny, you've got a technique for dealing with snoring too.
Yeah, I just kick Martin in the ankles.
And does that work?
Maybe I should
it's
try
movement.
that.
If you just go like that,
Yeah,
and you go,
yeah.
and then it'll stop.
Because what will happen is there's usually a little snuffle that precedes the sort of
Yeah.
crescendo of
Yeah, I'm
noise.
like that,
So if you-
snuffle,
but the-
and then I catch it
Yeah.
then, just before
And
it
if
gets
you've-
to full-blown horn.
And if you can negotiate with your partner, I love you, but I might gently kick you
Yeah.
at some point.
I go, I love you.
But every
love you.
time you do the gentle kick,
Just a
you've had to be woken up yourself
Exactly,
to do the kick. So if you have to administer the gentle, loving kick 8 times a night, that means you've been woken up 8 times a night. It's too much,
Yeah,
isn't it?
but I can go straight back to sleep. I'm a martini
Well, that's good.
girl.
That's
Yes.
good. But if you're a sensitive sleeper, that can be really,
it's
really
difficult.
exhausting
hard.
and exhausting.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Philip. Philip, you've got sleep apnea, which is a big deal. And actually, we'll get the doctor to just explain what that is briefly, because it's a
Yes,
big
that's
deal.
several awakenings. So it's a
Yeah.
more medical condition, and it's diagnosed in a clinic, in a sleep clinic, and they will look at the number of awakenings throughout the course of the night.
Yeah.
But again, and he might even be using a machine at
Let's
night, a
ask him.
CPAP
Philip, hi,
machine.
thanks so much for ringing. What made
Hi,
you
hi, Vanessa.
realise that you needed to go and get a diagnosis for sleep apnea? How bad was it?
I was was very hardly sleeping during the day, during the night, but I was also falling asleep once I had like a meal.
Yeah.
So it's like if I had breakfast, I would be falling asleep. So I thought it was like old man syndrome at Christmas. So I went and got tested, and I found I had sleep apnea, and I also got narcolepsy. So I can fall
narcolepsy.
asleep.
Gosh, you keep falling asleep.
Yeah, I can
So
fall
have you got
asleep
one of those
anywhere, yeah.
machines? What are they called?
A CPAP
Yeah, I used
machine.
I used a CPAP machine. Yeah, I used a CPAP machine, but I was just trying to find out if there's any sort of exercise that I can do to sort of help me wean me off of that.
Is there?
Yeah, Philip, so please, listen to everything I've said today. The hydration, the minimising the caffeine, which is also going to dehydrate the tissues, alcohol in the evenings. And I know that those humming exercises, those vocal exercises seem a bit silly, but they really do work. I was blown away and so embarrassed to find out during the menopause that I was snoring. I went on holiday with a friend. Our relationship nearly fell apart because we were sharing a room.
Yeah.
Never do that again. And she said I was snoring. I said, I don't snore.
Yeah.
But what can happen again during menopause is those muscles become flaccid. Changing levels of estrogen cause the muscles to become flaccid. Those tissues and membranes in the throat are very similar to the tissues and membranes in the vagina, actually.
Gosh.
So they become flaccid and floppy, and that's what causes that vibration. So singing, no snoring. I don't snore anymore. So, Philip, I would say lifestyle intervention. I know it sounds drastic. But
How long after you start going la and r and humming and sticking your tongue out and all that, how long would you say it would
do
take
it
to feel
every
a
day.
difference?
Every day, 5 to 8 minutes before you clean your teeth,
Yeah.
to really try and hold the note. And after 2 or 3 weeks, but keep it going, coupled with regular exercise, walking, plus hydration, which is good for your
And
health.
also, plus not looking at your phone with your
Not
neck
looking at
hanging
your
down
phone.
like
Get
that.
the phone out the bedroom.
Yeah, get the phone out the bedroom.